What's happening, Joey?
All right, mate. You okay?
Yeah. No, we do a space on a Monday night, Everton, and we've just been on. And we've just been talking about like, is Dyche the man for Everton? Isn't he the man for Everton? And we've just been talking about I'm a big believer in Jordan Pickford. Me, I think he's absolutely fantastic as a goalkeeper. I know he's round the bend and things like that, but I'll ask you the question, being a fellow. Yeah, well, this is the question I'm going to ask you, being a fellow Evertonian. Do you think Jordan Pickford's the best goalkeeper we've had at the football club since Neville?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
He's perfect for Everton. Like, in terms of, he can kick it a fucking country mile, right? I know he's a bit up and down. I think he's a keeper who likes to make saves, which is never a good trait, but there's loads of good keepers who've been like that. I think for Everton, the way we are, the situation we're in at the minute, I don't think we could get a better goalie. I really, really don't. And when I look at the lads in front of him, if we're going to build a decent team, you know, I think the last position we need to change is the goalie. I think we need to improve everywhere else. And, you know, I think signing Pickford, you know, the last contract he took with, I thought that was a good deal. We've got to spend money elsewhere in the team, mainly in the centre forward position, because we need someone who can fucking score goals, and they cost you a fortune.
What's your expectations for Everton this year, Joe?
Well, it was certainly a bit better than kind of where they've started. I mean, you know, the fact that we weren't scoring goals, and I was really, really worried a couple of weeks ago. Thankfully, we've managed to knock Wolves off, because I wasn't sure which way that was going to go. I thought that was a dangerous fixture for us, especially going in with the no goals in the previous 4 games. I think then to back that up and go to Arsenal, which Everton haven't always had a good, you know, Tottenham away and Arsenal away haven't been good hunting grounds for Everton for fucking decades. To back that up, I was really worried Saturday. I couldn't see us scoring. So, but I also couldn't see Arsenal not scoring, and the fact that we've gone there and, you know, we've stunk the gaff out, but we've managed to defend really well and get another point on the board. I think that's a fantastic point. But the problem's going to come for us is, I think there's 3 worse teams than us in the league this year.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But this new ownership group coming in, that should give them some wiggle room financially. Kevin Felwell's the director of footy, is he? And you've got Dyche there. I'm not sure. You've either got to back them in terms of, you know, we're going to give you money to spend in January, but then if your manager's only got to the summer, you know, who are they going to back Felwell? So is he going to make the signings, which might be compatible with Dyche, or are they going to give Dyche it, knowing that Dyche might be the manager in the summer? I just think they're in a tricky spot. They'd be almost better. It's going to sound, I love Dyche, he's my pal. They're almost better as soon as they're taken over, going, you know, it is a certain amount of money, but, you know, it's got to be incentive based. So, like, I don't know. It's a tricky one for me. I'm biased because I think Dyche has put fires out since he's been at Everton, because I think Lampard was fucking dreadful for us. And I think Ancelotti gets a lot of credit, but I think they fucking spunk millions of pounds.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And then fucked us off and left us in the lurch. And everyone likes him because he's a cool Italian bastard. But I'm like, he's a fucker. And you can't blame him for going to Real Madrid, by the way, and winning European Cups. But I think we were left in a bad situation there, where they'd spent a fortune, and obviously the club was up against it. The problem then is you jump out the frying pan into the fire with a novice coach who was crap. The worst Everton manager I've seen since fucking Mike Walker, if I'm honest, Lampard. I remember being at the Brighton game at home and just being like, oh, I can't believe it's come to this. Thankfully,
that was in January, that one.
Yeah, but I remember being in the main stand with me lad, and there was women, like people's Mars and that, were fucking effing and jeffing and calling the players cunts and everything after, like, I was like, my God, I can't imagine this happening at like Anfield, where they're all singing fucking You'll Never Walk Alone, and people's Mars were after lynching the manager. Do you know what I mean? It was that toxic in there. Thankfully, you know, we got rid of Lampard, and Dyche has come in, firefighting mission, keeps us up. Then they've got the 10-point deduction and all the shite going round with the club and having to, you know, the finances all up in the air, keeps us up again. And there's part of me that's like, we're not just going to become a great team because this group have taken over. There's gonna, even with Man City when the Abu Dhabi mob come in, there's about a 5 or 6 year period of building. I'd be tempted to give Dyche another couple of years, obviously a little bit of a transfer kitty, to see what he does. I know, but you can get rid of a manager and end up worse off. Do you know what I mean? Like he's a solid Premier League manager. Wolves, I'm looking at teams now. Southampton, they go, you take a Dyche because he kind of guarantees you staying in the league, even in the chaos. But he hasn't had any real money to spend. He's been firefighting in every window or with what's going on off the field. And then if he doesn't perform, then you go, well, let's go and fucking take a Mourinho who might be on the market or whoever it is for Everton. I think Mourinho's the perfect Everton manager when I look at it. Because I'm like, who are we going to get?
Who's going to propel you from fucking
don't want fucking Graham Potter, do we?
Yeah.
We don't want to go you've got to be a certain type of manager for Everton because it's a tricky club to handle. So we've had Marco Silva who was shite. We've had Martinez. We had played an attacking style of footy, but in the end the fans had enough of him. So when you look at the market, you go, who are Everton going to take as a manager? Who would you take as a manager? What's your name, lad? The Spirit of the Blues. I'd call you that.
It's Fran.
Who would you want as Everton manager?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Joe. Right, I would get rid of Dyche the end of the season,
lad,
if not in January. Right. Who would get in? I would be looking to go out and be looking at Thomas Frank for the job he's done at Brentford. And the reason I don't say Graham Potter is this. I think if it doesn't go right, if it doesn't hit the ground running with Graham Potter in charge and our fans, his head will go. Because I don't think he likes the criticism. Our fans are a strange breed, aren't they? We sell out every week home and away. We haven't won a fucking tap for 30 years. But, the demand for tickets and the demand to go and watch Everton Football Club's ridiculous.
But Thomas Frank is a counter-attacking coach, right? They play 5-4-1, 5-3-2. A lot of their recruitments, Brentford's a solid club. Matthew Benham and Tony Bloom were once in the gambling industry together. They had the big falling out. Bloom goes to Brighton, Matthew Benham takes Brentford, and they build the clubs up in similar models, statistics, data, because they both made the money in gambling, so they've both got big gambling companies. Benham has a completely different model to Bloom in terms of they both recruit from foreign markets. One will take South American chances. If you look at Benham, he takes a lot of Scandi boys, German types, big physical units. So a lot of Thomas Frank's recruitment is done by Benham and his analytical people from his gambling company. He's a bit more of a head coach who manages it. So if you get Thomas Frank, and I think he's a good coach, Thomas, he coaches a certain way, but you don't get, the recruitment arm of it doesn't come. So when I look at it, I think Everton need a manager, somebody who takes the bull by the horns and has great contacts in the game and can attract players. Like Ancelotti, for me, is a manager. He's not a head coach. He's somebody who fucking has all contacts in the games and attract players via his personality. Thomas Frank fits more into a Man United model because they want a technical director and they want that kind of head coach. So I know he's been linked with Man U, but you can't play 5-4-1 and 5-3-2 and counter-attack with Man United. And I think the Everton crowd moving into new stadium, I don't think Everton will fucking have that. And I think that's the reason Liverpool have been lucky not taking Xabi Alonso, because he's a back three. He's like Ruben Amorim, he's a back three coach, where they've actually gone for Arne Slot, who's Dutch, and the Dutch foundation is always 4-3-3 because that's their base model. So I look at it, and you look at Arne Slot and Liverpool finding him. I know we don't want to talk about him because it's fucking hard enough with them sitting off the table, but their recruitment, they've given up Jurgen Klopp to get Michael Edwards back in, and then obviously found a coach that fits their model. Like, I look at Everton and I go, what is our model? Like, is it Kevin Felwell, isn't it? Who's like, he was ex-Wolves, weren't he?
Do you think that? Do you think Kevin Felwell will leave, and we could end up with Dan Ashworth? Is it the one that's just left United with Graham Potter as the manager going into Bramley Moore?
I don't know where the I don't know where. I don't think they suit Everton.
No.
So we could, because the Freakin group, I don't know who they are. I don't know what they'll do. They could go that methodology, but that would be an enormous shift for Everton. at the club. And lad, we've been the game. Josh next to me is an Evertonian. It takes a certain type. It's a tough crowd, Everton. It takes a certain type. You know, when we've done well in my lifetime, it's been Moyes and Joe Royle's Dogs of War, and there's a grit to Everton that I think is necessary to be successful. Now, Martinez's brand of footy was exciting, it was attacking, but it lacked a substance and a grit that eventually the Evertonians got sick of. Because I think when I was an Evertonian that turned up, I just want to see the lads in the shirt fight for the badge and die for the badge. Now, I've played for Dyche and I get it's not ideal at this moment in time, but we have to accept with Dyche, he hasn't had fucking a clear run at it, and he's been firefighting since he's been in the job. So I'm going, look, before we fucking start to run into this new stadium, let's make sure we're a Premier League club for the next 4 or 5 years. Giving Dyche another couple of years and going, come on, we're going to give you a couple of windows there, because he only buys solid citizens. Dyche, he doesn't speculate on big mad foreigners. I think his recruitment at Everton since he's been there, on the budget he's had, like Ndiaye, he's found good players. Listen, he's bought some shite as well. Do you know what I mean? There's some shit in that side, but the fact that we're still in the division after the Lampard debacle, there was still in the division after the points fucking taken off us, and he'll keep us in the division this year. I was worried before the Wolves game, but you know, he's still got we've got Ashley Young playing fucking right back. We've got no right back really. You know, we've got no centre forward. Beto and Calvert-Lewin can't hit a fucking cow's ass with a banjo. The pair of them, they ain't going to get you fucking 15 goals a season between the two of them. You know, we had Mopai before that. You know, you've got to score goals to stay in this league. You know, the midfield, Idrissa Gueye wearing fucking tight playing centre mid for Everton. Boyles might piss. And then you've got Mangala, who was given up by Forest, and the young kid, Irigbum, who was a fucking QPR, the Villa boy, who hasn't been fit. You know, we've got Jack Harrison on the wings.
It's a bad squad, isn't it?
With a bad team. Like, and by the way, that's all we've got, because the financial mess that the club got in via the Ancelotti years, and obviously I think it's to do with Mashiri's finances and the war in Ukraine, and obviously the guy from Arsenal who's clearly putting a fortune in, who can't now do it because of Usmanov and the USM deal, because that's crippled Everton. Thankfully, we've got that stadium over the line, and I think for a couple of years, listen, we all want to get better, want to see Everton challenging the top of the division, but you can't fucking run before you can walk. Sean Dyche, I've worked with the fella, so I'm biased, but he's a solid manager. He has to. I think if you give him, you know, a couple of windows, then you go, either you're fucking doing well, Dyche, or no, he's not for us. But he's not. You're not going to be in a fucking relegation fucking battle with Dyche if you give him a couple of decent pots of money to buy solid citizens.